Welcome to Laughter Revolution. I'm your host, Marla Simlet. And this podcast I've built on the simple idea that while life can be heavy, getting through it doesn't always have to be, because laughter. Now, today's episode is the next in my series of the on the road interviews that I'm doing, where laughter, learning, and luggage collide. I'm currently in Copenhagen, Denmark, but I just spent 3 weeks in Norway, a beautiful part of the world where my guest hails from. And if you haven't been there, just go, because it's wonderful. And while I was there in Tromsø, the Paris of the North, I was fortunate enough to meet today's guest, Lina Karlsen, who is the daughter of my Airbnb host there. And Lina and I had lots of time to chat on my first morning as I was waiting for Gertrude to finish her solo adventure. Yes, Gertrude, I'm talking to you. She finally made it, but the time that we had together turned into one of those opportunities or those hidden gems that I talk about that arise when your plans get disrupted and something else has to happen. Lina and I had a great conversation that morning about places and people and culture. So I look forward to continuing to pick her brain, your brain, Lina, about laughter and life in Norway. So thanks so much for being with me today and agreeing to come on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So can you start by telling us just a little bit about yourself?
I am 40 years old. I'm a social worker. I grew up just outside of Tromsø. Maybe we'll get back to my beautiful home place as you also fell in love with it. Um, and I currently live in Gårdegate now in the municipality of Finnmark. I moved there a couple of years ago to study Sami language.
Yeah. And where is that? If I was looking at a map of Norway, where is that location?
It is east of Tromsø and a little bit south. Actually,
Okay.
people think it's north of Tromsø, but it isn't. It's a little bit south of Tromsø,
Okay.
but it's in the inlands. So it borders to Finland.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions, but we'll also just kind of chatter and chat. So, Laughter Revolution, I'm all about the laughter and humor. And it's more than that for me. It's the positivity that brings into your life. And I want to know what role laughter plays in your life.
I think for me and all of my family, at least, and I think for the people of northern of Norway, historically the life has been pretty tough. It's both for the Norwegian people and the Sami people who I belong to. There's been a struggle of finding a way to live through weather, finding food, those sorts of things. And even now, it is a little bit of a struggle getting our voices heard in the governing city of the South. And so I think laughter for us is like a tool. It's very much dark humor up here, and it doesn't always land well in the South. So there are definitely some cultural differences, and I think humor is a big part of that.
Yeah. What would be an example of, did you say stark or dark?
Dark.
Dark. So have you got an example of the dark humor that you might hear in the North?
Oh, not like at the top of my head, but like in general, it's more of like if you can cry about it, then you should rather laugh about it.
Yeah.
So like crack a joke, it'll feel better.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the people of the South don't always they don't get offended necessarily, but they don't understand like yeah. So it's very much of like it's a shocking, can you joke about a matter like this?
Right. And I'll
Yeah.
just add, I know you have experience of that because you lived in Oslo for a number, which is down in the south. It's like that gallows humor, right? So
Yeah.
laughing at things that might seem like a tragedy or might seem horrific, but it's a way to help cope and a way to help deal with it. And some people don't understand that or feel offended by it.
Yeah, I do think some people feel offended by it, but in my opinion, my generation doesn't necessarily get offended. It's more like shocking.
Okay.
Yeah, that they're shocked that it is possible. It's more of like oh wow, how could you?
Oh, do you think that at all opens people's minds up to using humor in that way as a coping mechanism, using it intentionally to help deal with heavy things?
Well, I hope so. In my opinion, like as a social worker too,
Mm.
I think the resilience of humor is like an untapped source of um yeah, of resilience.
Yeah.
It's building your capacity, I think.
Yeah. You're speaking
Being
my
able to
language.
laugh. Yeah,
Yeah. And I know, just to mention your mom, I'm going to pronounce her name properly, Maret.
yeah,
Yeah. And
sort
she
of.
works. What is it in real
Close
life?
enough. Merete.
Merletta. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I have such a hard time wrapping my head around Norwegian. I'm not sure why, but just you working in social work, and I know she works in palliative care, and she and I had
Yeah.
a conversation. She's got a wonderful sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
And she and I had a conversation just about how you have to have the laughter, whether you're to help you cope with it yourself or also helping the people that you're helping
Yeah.
cope, right? So,
And I mean, you can be in a shitty situation and the situation will be shitty anyway. You might as well
yeah,
laugh about it.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That will
Um,
better it.
yes. So, is there a difference then when you're speaking about kind of the Northern Norwegian or the Sami kind of sense of humor or laughter? Or is it kind of one and the same, influenced by each other?
I think in a way it is influenced by each other. It's really hard to like draw a line, of course, because I grew up Sami, but I grew up in a place that is different from the Sami place where I'm now living. So there are cultural differences within the culture as well, of course. Um, but yeah, I would say that at least for the Sami people of my home place, it is very much so. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So still that kind of dark humor that what would make you laugh? What makes you laugh every time?
Oh, I didn't really. Okay, I have an example. It is really dark, but like for example, we have in the Sami community, we have a lot of suicides, unfortunately, more than in the average population of Norway. And one of my friends, she lost her brother this year.
Mm,
And that is, of course, like the worst situation that a person can be in. And a couple of months after it happened, we all went, like our friend group, we went on a trip. Um, and I think she said something like, because she was contemplating buying a new snowboard. And she was like, but I don't really need it. And then her best friend said, come on, your brother killed himself. You deserve it. And then we all laughed.
yeah.
And that is, I think, a good example of a joke that, of course, it has to be like precisely timed. It has to come from the right person
Yes.
because, of course, like the relationship, um, that's a joke that wouldn't work in any sort of relationship.
Yeah.
But because it comes from her best friend, it is sort of like and it's well placed.
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of like a treat yourself. Your brother killed himself. Come on. And I think that is also a great example of a joke that, if for many people, would not land, and many people would be like, "Oh wow, that that's not funny." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, in the right relationship at the right time, just it's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
interesting because when you said that, I could feel, 'cause I do a lot of energy work, and I can feel that you can feel the release that would come from that,
yeah,
right? Just
yeah,
the laughter that would come up, which helps release some of
yeah,
that grief and that energy. Yeah. I had a similar
totally.
thing after my mom died. My brother got stopped by the cops. He was driving home, I think, from the hospice or the nursing home after she died. He got stopped by the cops for speeding, and he told the story the next day. He's like, "And I played the dead mother card. Why wouldn't you?"
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are there people in your life that that make you laugh?
Yeah. I mean, as a family, we laugh together. And another example, I don't have like a concrete example of, I don't remember anything like concrete now, but my grandmother has Alzheimer's. Um, yeah, my grandmother has Alzheimer's, and so she has a hard time remember, and that is a tragic situation.
Mhm.
Um, but that is also an example of my family has just chosen to like we sort of like we banter a bit about it, and we kind of tease her about it, and she laughs as well.
Nice.
And so I think that is a way for us to um at the right times, of course, we don't like laugh at her, but that is a way I think for us to like build a sense of community around her where she feels that she participates still. Because I think um a lot of her ability to communicate has been affected. And so a lot of the times when we're together, she's just sitting quietly,
Mhm.
um, and observing and listening, because I don't think that she necessarily knows how to participate anymore. Um, and then we can tease her a little bit, and then we laugh together. And of course, she participates in the laughing. And so I think that that is, yeah, that is like a beautiful example of how laughter can build community and make sure that everyone's like still
Yes.
participating.
Yeah. I was that
Yeah.
that was a word that was coming up was beautiful. What a beautiful way to keep that connection with your grandmother and also within, building that community of family and not having
Yeah.
her be left out or feel like she's already gone.
Yeah.
Even though I mean,
I did come up now with with a concrete example, and it's sort of sad and but beautiful.
okay.
Because she spends a couple of weeks every 6 weeks, I think, at like a retirement home. And it is because she is starting to deteriorate in a way that is really tiring for my grandfather. So
Mhm.
he sort of needs a break.
And they're in their late 80s, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
yeah,
87 and 88. So
yeah,
my grandfather is 88, and he's like he has all of his wits, but of course it's
a
very
lot.
tiresome for him to have to care for her 24/7, and also now that she's started to go out wandering in the night and those sorts of things. And so she has 2 weeks on holiday, we call it.
On
um,
vacation.
yeah, but this last time, she got the idea that he's divorced her. And so she panicked, and she's been really like, he
Oh.
has, or that he's trying to leave her because he has someone else. And so she was like really panicking, saying, like, he's gonna leave me. He's found somebody else. I know that he's with her. That's why I'm here. He's placed me
Oh.
here so that he can have his affair, and then he's gonna leave me. And then my mom was like, Dad is not that smart. Come on. He's not smart enough to have an affair behind your back.
I
Because
love
we
it.
and up until this point, we had tried everything. We had tried like orienting her towards reality, like you're both almost 90. It's not, and she wouldn't have any of it.
Yeah.
But then when my mom was like, come on, he's not smart enough. And then my grandmother was like, I think you're right. And then we all laughed about it.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I love all these examples you're giving and the things you're talking about using laughter as a tool, right?
Yeah.
And you've also identified the key pieces of, when it's appropriate, when it's not, like the reason why it works, which I think, I mean, sometimes people believe laughter is just an accident, a happy accident. Oh, I'm glad it
Yeah.
works. And the work that I do is all about bringing it in intentionally because it can be such a tool. And I love these examples that you're giving that are showing how you're using that
Yeah.
in your family and in your life. That's
But
amazing.
I also have examples of it not landing well.
Mm,
Because when we're talking about death and laughter, A close friend in that I had in Oslo. His father was really sick for many years. I don't really know exactly what it was, but he was like close to dying a couple of times. And then I think were talking about like buying apartments, because this is of course in the early 20s, or mid 20s, when you're trying to get settled and finding out where
Yeah.
you're going to live and all of those sort of things. And then he was worried about his financial situation. And I was like, you have nothing to worry about. Your father's going to die. You're going to inherit. And for me, that is exactly the same as my friend did when we were on the trip, saying, like, treat yourself. Your brother killed himself. But it didn't land at all. All the people in the room were like, oh, no, could you say that?
Oh,
And I
no.
ended up having to apologize to my friend because he thought me being rude. And of course I like explained, and he was like, yeah, yeah, okay, I understand. It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
But that was like 100% me trying to create like a release, both
Yeah.
for the financial worries and
Yeah.
also because his father was really sick at the time.
Yeah.
Um, but that, yeah, that is an example of like it
Yeah.
being different.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting how culturally, just different, even different parts of the same country, right? I mean, we have
Mhm.
that in Canada. The difference between Vancouver on the west coast and Newfoundland and Nova Scotia on the east coast, and then even the central Canada, the humor can land a little bit different, and it's a different, just a different way of thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, what what do you think the funniest thing is about you?
I think, and I have actually thought a lot about this because I've learned a new language the last few years. And in learning a new language, I really felt that I couldn't be myself.
Yeah.
Um, so I struggled a lot with like getting my personality through in Sami. I felt like people didn't really get to know me. And of course, I think a level of that is for everyone learning a new language. I think that that is not necessarily linked to humor. But for me, it is very much linked to humor because I think I'm like quippy. I have a comment on everything. I like, um, my mind works really fast in that way. So people can say something and then I will just shoot in a comment and then people will laugh. I've always been able to make people laugh like that. And so yeah, I think that my like comedic timing is like in the center of my humor.
Yes.
And being able to tie things together. So for example, if we're having a conversation, it's a party, da, 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 I can do like the thing that stand-up comedians do. I can bring back a comment from before as
The
well.
callback.
Yeah. So I do that a lot. And I'm happy to say that I'm now able to do that in Sami as well. But I was
Yay.
super frustrated at first because I was like, um, it didn't go fast enough for that.
Yeah.
And so I could like a few minutes later be like, damn, that would have been a great joke.
And there are some points where it's just too late to bring it back.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's so interesting. I've actually heard that that you have mastered a language when you can be funny in
Yeah.
that language because there's
Okay.
so many nuances to it. So again, a
Yeah.
little clap for you. You have
Thank you.
mastered the Sami language. And I think that's why you and I hit it off so well because that's a sense of humor, type of humor that I have too. I often, when my husband and I will have parties, I like to be in the background.
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed with being in the middle of it. So I like to be in the kitchen doing the dishes or doing whatever, but I'll be listening. And we
Yeah.
call it Marla's comments from the peanut gallery because I'll throw some comment in or do something over here,
Yeah.
and always manage to make people laugh. And it's such a gift we have
Mm.
when we can do that because especially somebody like you who has such an awareness of the power behind it and what it can do for you to be able to lighten a mood, to build community, to support the people around you using humor, which is such a non-threatening thing to use as a tool.
Yeah.
It's a gift that you give.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
I really do think I've been working as a social worker, both as a therapist, but also like I really don't know what that is called in English, but like you're an on-site um, prevention work, social worker. So you will like, um, for example, if all the kids are hanging at the mall, you will be like around, just hanging
Oh,
around,
okay.
being yeah. I don't know if you have that in Canada, but that
Probably do,
is
but I can't think of a specific kind of job
term for
title
it.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've done that quite a lot, and then you need that humor to build relationships,
Yeah.
because it's a way of building trust as well.
Yeah.
Um, that's sort of like your way in. It's a golden ticket. It's being able to have a common land and people laughing. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they know that you're a person that they can turn to as well.
Yeah. And that's a huge piece. I did a lot of research when I was starting to build my business as a professional speaker, speaking about laughter, and that the trust is one of the biggest things that laughter does. And there's still no kind of solid place where they say this is definitely why laughter was given, because we don't get extra bits. We laughter is with us for a reason. But they think the biggest piece was the social bonding piece and the
Yeah,
trust that it builds.
that's
And so
interesting.
yeah, so why would you not use that, like starting to think about using that intentionally to help in those areas, right?
Yeah.
And then when you add to that the knowledge of when it's going to land and when it's not and when it's appropriate, and there's a real nuance to it. I actually have it's now a registered trademark, laughter intelligence, and it speaks to building your laughter intelligence so that you can use it intentionally to bring all the benefits to your life and other people. So if you took my laughter intelligence self-assessment, you probably rate up there,
I'll
which
put
is
that in
great.
mind.
Um, Tell me about the last time you laughed so hard that you either couldn't stop, spit tea out of your nose, peed a little bit, or maybe snorted.
It was just something stupid, I think. It was with my cousin.
Right. You
We
told
were
me
on a
about your
road
cousin.
trip.
What's her name?
Yeah. Hannah.
Anna.
So Hannah in
Yeah.
English, but yeah.
I'm going to try to pronounce it right.
Um,
Anna.
um, we of course we did the road trip, and when you spend a lot of time together, you also get like internal jokes. Um, yeah, I don't remember what it was. It was just something stupid, but it was sort of like a callback to an internal joke
Yeah.
that I threw it out there. Um, yeah, I threw it out there, and we were like in a group, probably like the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And then she found it so funny. So she laughed so hard that she was just like, and she said, it's too stupid. And then she got me going as well.
I love that. What
Yeah.
do you think um, are the characteristics? Like, what has to happen for you to laugh like that with somebody? That
Yeah. Well,
uncontrollable laughter that you cannot stop.
yeah, we've talked about trust. And that is
Yeah.
definitely you need to trust the other person. You need to feel completely at ease, comfortable, not self-conscious. Um, so I think that sort of laugh is it's um how do you say that in English? It's preserved just for the closest relationships we have, I think.
Yeah, it's
Or like
true.
not necessarily the closest, but like where we feel most comfortable. It's a really unfiltered version of you that comes out, right?
Yeah, I love that unfiltered version. Yeah, because I mean, laughing like crying isn't always pretty, right?
No, no,
I
no,
have
no.
snorted things out of my
It's
nose. I
yeah,
have,
it's impossible to do that if you're self-conscious.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Imagine being on a date. You would never. Then you would be more like,
It'd probably be the only
Yeah.
date you have.
Yeah.
And if not, then you know you're in the right place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's interesting because for me, a laugh like that is like a really, really good book, the book that you can't put down. I
Yeah.
search for it. And when I can find it, it's it's the number one thing. Like I look for it and it doesn't come very often. So I never take it for granted when
Yeah.
it does come. Yeah.
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 Because they are not. I mean, I remember like growing up, and especially my teenage years, I had like a lot of those with my friends.
Yeah.
But as an adult, they are fewer
Do you
and
think
not
because we're more
necessarily.
self-conscious?
I don't know. Um, Maybe not more self-conscious. Some of us probably are because of like the roles we have taken on and such. Because there are definitely some situations where I know that I'm more self-conscious now than I was as a young person. Um, but I don't know. We as adults tend to take things more seriously.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah.
is my experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really
And I laugh a
trying.
lot about that, like the language situations. So with my friends who has Sami as their mother tongue, we've had like a lot of humor. Me saying things wrong or like pronouncing things so that there are misunderstandings and things like that. And in those situations, I've thought like how lucky I am as an adult to be able to challenge myself in a way that very few grown-ups are challenged at all,
Yeah.
because it's uncomfortable as well to challenge yourself in that way and be vulnerable. But I think maybe that is the link, that kind of laughter, that kind of um, being able to not be self-conscious in like a very grown-up serious way is
Yeah.
linked to vulnerability in a way.
Yeah.
And you need to be open to that to get those experiences.
Yeah. It's made me think just when you were talking about language and when my husband and I were traveling in Turkey, we ended up on the wrong bus, or I can't remember what happened, but we were trying to explain to the bus driver and some guys that were standing around what was happening, and you could tell they were kind of like, you know, these stupid tourists. And basically we heard the word like turismo or something,
Yeah.
and my husband Michelle kind of turned around and he went, kind of like this, like, yes, we're so stupid. And they laughed. And then
Yeah.
they were much more amenable to helping us.
Yes.
Right. And they helped
Yeah.
us get on the right bus. And there's a whole story around how they, gave us a cell phone with one of their friends that was in that town that was going to help us out. Like it was just, but it was just that moment of him showing I can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Here's a laugh and let's build that trust,
Yeah.
which is great.
Maybe that is it also with like the dark humor, because it is, you are taking a risk. You're going out on a limb in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing if it will land. And it's also, it's always like a risk that it also won't land.
Yeah.
So maybe like vulnerability really is the key.
Yeah. And you had a great, I just want to call back to that when you were talking about it not landing with your friend in Oslo, the
Yeah.
important piece of that was the recovery,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Of course.
Because I speak sometimes to managers about how do you bring humor into the workplace in a way, and many managers are so afraid to
Yeah.
try because what if it doesn't land right? And and it is about that repair, and that builds trust too. When people
Yeah.
can see, oh, you were vulnerable, you made a mistake, you're able to understand your mistake and repair it, right?
Yeah.
So
That's really interesting what you say, because and this I'm not going to turn this into a podcast about The Office, the series The Office, but I
I think
really
there's other
like.
podcasts about that.
Yeah. But I really like the main character there. He's really obnoxious, really,
It's
and he
Carol,
does a lot
right?
of humor that doesn't land. And I think I read somewhere that they were really worried about people hating Michael, the boss, like the viewers hating
Yeah.
him. And then he is like one of, I think the show wouldn't have been successful without the character Michael. And I think the key there is also like the vulnerability. even though he says like horrific things and he does things that would, I mean, he would be an HR nightmare in real life, and is on the show as well.
Yeah.
But I think it is like the vulnerability and that you understand that it comes from a good place.
Hmm.
And I think he does also do good repair work.
Yeah.
And so he is like a great example of, um, yeah,
Yeah. Using humor
making
and
it work. Yeah.
making it work. That's right. I love that. All right, I'm just aware of our time, and
Yeah.
so I would like to move into the Laughter Revolution lightning round, if that's okay.
Okay.
So this is a series of quick questions that I'm asking all my guests. I want you
Okay.
just to answer quickly, one
Yeah.
word or two words off the top of your head.
Okay.
Laughter is cheaper than?
Therapy.
True fact.
Yeah. I felt I'm not really allowed to say that being a therapist myself, but
I'm
it
a
is.
therapist too, and a client of therapy, and laughter is certainly cheaper.
Yeah.
Second one, you need to laugh when?
You want to cry
Yes. Yeah, perfect. The most inappropriate place you've ever had the giggles was?
in a funeral.
You're the second person to say that. That seems to
Yeah.
be a common thing.
Yeah. But also interesting that we can't laugh in a funeral, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of, well, not a lot of people, but I've heard of different kind of funerals and celebrations of life where the first thing they say is, please laugh, because
Yeah.
that's what this person would have. I mean, I want people laughing at my funeral. I
Yeah.
probably, if I knew ahead of time, I'd probably do a comedy bit and play it just to make sure that they're laughing at the funeral. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is some impropriety sometimes that
Yeah.
seems
It's
to be
not allowed. Yeah.
silly. What's one thing guaranteed to make you laugh every single time?
That is a hard question.
What first thing that comes to your mind?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind, it sounds a little mean, but like um if someone like stumbles or falls but has humor about it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that is the key part. I won't just laugh at someone falling, but
Yes.
yeah.
One of my, just as an aside, one of my favorite stories is another speaker that I've heard of who was on the stage and he got so excited talking, he walked off the front of the stage and landed on the
Yeah.
ground. And then with the microphone, he said, I'm now taking questions from the floor.
That's
Which is-
great.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
keep that in mind. If I ever fall off the stage, I'll
Yeah.
borrow that from him. A day without laughter feels like
It feels great.
gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to not ever have a day without laughter.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I actually was walking and I didn't yesterday wasn't a great day traveling. I was just tired and kind of worn out and I wasn't and at one point I could feel myself getting grumpy and taking my own advice, I just started to giggle because I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to clear this energy off. So,
Yeah.
which leads me into my final question. So I talk about the IgG, which is your internal giggle generator, based on the idea that you don't need something to make you laugh if you can make yourself laugh. So I want you to give me your signature giggle in 3, 2, 1.
We'll do that.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
I love
Thank you.
that giggle. Yeah, awesome. Oh, thanks so much for being here, Lina. This was such a great conversation, and
Yeah.
just your perspective and your insight and your wisdom on the topic was a delight. I'm really
Thank you.
glad you could be here.
Thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
yeah, glad you had a great time at my home place.
Yes, I did. So that's it for us on
Yep.
this episode of Laughter Revolution. If you enjoyed it and know that you want more, please hit subscribe and feel free to pass the link on to any of your friends or anyone else you think may enjoy some giggly growth in their life. And you can follow my Laughter Revolution Digest, especially if you want more things that are happening on my trip and what I'm learning about and some pictures. You can subscribe to that on my website at marlasimlet.com. And again, I would love to hear from you. Where are you getting stuck? What did you think of this episode? What's made you giggle lately? What has made you laugh out loud? Share your questions, your stories, your photos, your videos with me on Instagram, where you can follow me, or at my website, email info@marlasimlet.com. So thanks again, Lina, for being here. I'm Marla Simlet. This was Laughter Revolution. And until next time, remember, laugh more, be well, and become your greatest you.